My boss actually texted me and she told me she was proud of your girl. I have no doubt that he saw some of these qualities in me. He saw how motivated that I was, the highest potential for the intention of my life. I want to be all that my creator made me to be. So I read this every single morning. That reminds me of why I work so hard at work. Pray every single morning. 3 or 4 weeks back, my boss actually texted me and she told me she was proud of your girl. The funny thing is I've been working at my job for about 10 months now. And so 3 months in is sort of when I started actually contributing to the team and submitting work. And so during that 3 months in, I would start my day at 8 a.m. in the morning, end around 4:30. At the end of the day, I was completely freaking exhausted. You get so much into the thick of work. You start your day, you go to work, and then you look outside the window, it's dark, you take a nap, you wake up, a little bit of time to yourself, bam, next day hits, work, cycle repeats, work, you get off work, it's dark outside. I did a couple things that helped me not only survive my job, but also thrive. And so in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 things that I've been maintaining that have been helping me thrive. First of all, the first tip that I should have included in the 5 tips, the overarching thing is my relationship with God. I pray every single morning. So let's just put that into perspective. But the number 2 is the following, and that is to read for 25 minutes every single day. Recently, I finished reading Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson, and I am halfway through reading Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson as well. So this is the book right here. So a good example of how these books have already transformed my life within the span of about 3 months is the following. Let's just start off with how successful that they are. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, a company's worth about $3.6 trillion today. Musk, we know him for Tesla. He's behind PayPal as well. Tesla alone is worth $1.6 trillion today. So these are people that are obviously very, very successful, and they were brutally honest. If they see something that they don't like in front of the person that gave them the idea, they will bluntly tell them that it was a terrible product. They weren't afraid to say all the things that we're thinking about something. I mean, be kind to others. It's okay when people do something wrong, but I think it's also okay for us to correct behavior as well. Elon and Walter Isaacson were not afraid to correct people. Jobs gives this example of him coming from work one day, seeing his son. This moment that he thought about the person that he had just fired that same day and how he might have a son at home. So imagine firing someone. That feeling sucks, that moment sucks. So obviously he had an idea of how his actions were impacting others. Without correcting behavior, without saying what we think is wrong, whatever you're tolerating, you're sort of encouraging to stay. Because recently I bought a shower cap for $6 in the store. As soon as I walked out of the store and I got in my car, I tried it on, it didn't even fit my head. But I just wanted to test out what would happen if I just walked back into the store and I told the store manager that they shouldn't be selling it and that I wanted a refund for my money, because that was honestly, truthfully, a very much a waste. I walked back into the store and I told them this product is like, it didn't even fit my head, it's not even doing its purpose. And then he told me, other customers wouldn't buy it, and then I told him other customers shouldn't be buying it, you shouldn't be selling this product. They ended up offering to trade it in for a different type of shower cap at the same price, or to refund it, and I didn't want the product anymore, so I ended up getting my money back. So it wasn't about like $5 or $6, it was about just being honest, calling things out for what they are. If something is trash, if something is not working, it's not working. If it's not a good product, it's not a good product. And so this has transformed me to this level in 3 months. Imagine what happens if I continue to read every single day for 25 minutes. So the second tip that I'm going to talk about comes from this book that you probably heard about, and it is from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. This book has over 40 million copies worldwide. One of the tips that have been helping me is actually begin with the end in mind. When I was in grad school, there was a class that was open only to PhD students. So in order to get in, you actually have to have special permission from the professor first. And first day of class comes and he makes an announcement to the class full of the PhD students. I was the only grad student in the class, and he tells them other students actually asked to be in this class also, but Anna is the only person that I granted this special permission for. It speaks to the volume of the tip that I got. And so this tip is about beginning with the end in mind. And in the book, he gives off this example of you walking into a funeral and suddenly you look around and you just see all of these sad but familiar faces up to the casket. Look at the person who passed away, and when you look down, staring face to face with yourself, there are very few that matter. The amount of likes that you have on Instagram don't really matter. The amount of likes you get on Facebook, failing a class, who's gonna remember the class that you failed in undergrad, whatever. I was in grad school, I began with the end in mind. I wanted to be really good at what I did. I wanted to be an excellent researcher. I knew that I wanted to go for my PhD. I knew that like if I excelled in grad school at that moment, then it's gonna make the PhD process better. I actually had a conversation with him the beginning of grad school to ask him about what the PhD process was going to be like. I have no doubt that he saw some of these qualities in me. He saw how motivated that I was, and that's because I set the vision earlier on. That's career vision, but I also have, you know, a mission statement for my life as well. Ultimately, we're all gonna die. And so I have a mission statement for my life. I know that I can inspire and have an impact on others. The way I live my life physically, mentally, financially, and spiritually. God created me in every inch of my being with intention in mind and a plan for my life, and I want to reach the highest potential intention of my life. I want to be all that my Creator made me to be. I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you, not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. So I read this every single morning. That reminds me of why I work so hard at work, what my vision is for my life. So this next tip is something that you probably already are familiar with, and that is plan your day to the T. When I was in college, I took this weed out course, and it's chemistry 101. During freshman year, the professor passed out this sheet, and on the sheet, on all the rows, you would have time. So you'd have 8:30, 9:30, 5, and so it's going in 30-minute increments, and it just has the time. And then on the columns, you actually have the days of the week. So you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday through Sunday. And so she passes out this paper during freshman year, and she gives us the advice of, this is what you should be using to plan your day. The biggest example of this is sort of like Parkinson's law. I remember, you know, getting an assignment somewhere in school, it could be high school, college, whatever it is. Teacher gives you a month to do this assignment, but you wait till the last week and you're like, okay, Saturday. It's due on Friday, and you're like, okay, today's the day that I finally start this assignment. So you start working on the assignment, you know, the night before it's due, you pull an all-nighter, submit this assignment, end up getting a good grade. So time fills up the space that you give for it. So if you give yourself a week to do the assignment, you'll get it done in a week. If you give yourself a month, it's possible to spread the assignment up in a month and get it done. Playing a little mental game with yourself where it's like, oh, I'm gonna get it done within this time frame because that's what I set out. And then you're alert the whole time, the whole 8 hours that you're working, and at the same time you're being productive and you're getting things done. So Parkinson's law, plan your day to the T, and yeah. So the